Happy New Year to all of our village's family and friends. The beginning of a new year is always an exciting time, and 2012 promises to be no exception. Every year, thousands of people from around the country decide that this is the year. This is the year to start life anew, right here in the villages. In fact, 2011, we welcomed over 4,500 folks who did just that. I'm hopeful for you that if you're not here enjoying the fun yet, that 2012 will be your year. We have a lot going on that you won't want to miss. We've entered our final phase of new home construction, and our newest neighborhoods are quickly filling up with friendly folks from all across the country, looking forward to new adventures and new friendships. Our neighborhoods, or villages as we call them, bustle with exciting activities that allow you to quickly make friendships, as though you've known each other all your lives. The same neighbors are the ones who have helped us earn our nickname, Florida's friendliest hometown. Stroll through a neighborhood, visit a golf club or recreation center, or walk downtown and just notice how many folks will greet you with a friendly hi or hello. It's true. And this year, we're excited to partner with the University of South Florida and Central Florida Health Alliance in an unprecedented effort to study and extend lifespan of active senior adults. People just like you, which now also has us known as America's healthiest hometown. And if that wasn't enough, we've broken ground and construction is underway on our third and final town, known as Brownwood. Named for our original family business in northern Michigan, Brownwood promises even more fun and exciting opportunities for villagers to enjoy life, all amid streets and storefronts reminiscent of an early century Florida cattle town. I could tell you all about the construction, but I'd rather you see it for yourself. Every month, exclusively here on the V-Mail, you'll find updates on the construction so close to the action you can practically reach out and touch it. Our friend Gary Corsair will renew his role from the Lake Sumter Landing preview show and bring you updates on the inspiration, the people behind the inspiration, construction, fun facts, and yes, as with all of our other towns, the mythical folklore of this very special destination. I hope you enjoy the show, and if this is the year that you're ready to live happier and healthier than ever before, what are you waiting for? Make our hometown your hometown in 2012. Now here's a look at the first of many shows to come, The Building of Brownwood. Enjoy.
I'm here in the heart of Brownwood, our third and final town square, and right now it looks like a pile of dirt, but soon villagers will be dining, shopping, and enjoying great entertainment right here 365 days a year. On this month's V-Mail, we'll explain the inspiration behind Brownwood with designers Tracy Mathews and Gary Mark. We'll give you a personal tour of the construction site with our very own Steve Edwards from Edwards Construction, and we'll take you along for a sneak peek inside this gigantic Barnstorm Theatre with Superintendent Danny Tilton. So come on, villagers, put on those hard hats and come along with me for the Building of Brownwood. Behind me, hundreds of engineers, designers, and construction workers are busy working to turn visions and dreams into reality. If you would, tell me a little bit about the vision and the concept and how that whole process came about.
It was about 3 years ago when we started researching and thinking about where we were going to take our third town center. And we decided to take it home. And that's why we chose the name Brownwood, because that's where my family came from and where we started.
Yeah, and we wanted it to be a native theme. You know, our two current downtowns are Florida vernaculars, one being Spanish American and the other one being the waterfront town. And this one was just kind of a natural fit for us. We thought, let's, like Tracy said, let's pay tribute to the Florida cowboy, which very few people know about, and it's not the same as the Western cowboy. It's totally different history and different environment that the cattle grazed in, and we just thought it just fit in perfectly.
And also we've kind of joked around over the years about our dad, you know, being a cowboy. He's not really a cowboy. He doesn't ride horses, he doesn't herd cattle, he doesn't do anything like that, but he's just got that westward ho mentality where he just believes that you can get anything done and with hard work and vision, and so we thought, what a great combination.
Tell me a little bit about the storyline and how that works.
We develop a storyline after we decide it's going to be a cattle theme or a Florida cowman theme. We develop a story, and we do that with Tracy and some pretty talented people. We sit around a table, and you know, that story kind of acts as our foundation for designing the downtown, why certain things are where they are. I guess the best analogy is using the term a home. A home is just a house without the history and the people that live there and the memories that are developed within that building. So that story, we take that and we start developing the town square concept, and then around the town square we start designing the facades and the theaters and the offices and the retail spaces. But essentially what we do after we get that done is we have our civil engineers map out the streets, and we take ideas from Spanish Springs and from Lake Sumter Landing. If you look at the site plan for Brownwood, it's kind of a combination of the two of them. It's similar to Lake Sumter Landing without the lake, obviously, and it's got some roads that are very similar to Spanish Springs. We go back to the storyline to pull ideas about what the buildings were in the past and what they are currently.
How important is it to work with the same people that have helped you bring dreams to reality on other projects?
It is so nice because everyone that works with us on these jobs, they're so proud to be a part of it, and it shows. It shows in their dedication, and it shows in their workmanship. You know, the bricklayers, the guys who lay concrete on the streets, everybody. I mean, it's incredible.
You and your design team are known for going the extra mile and doing special things, but why go to the extent of having actual wood from an old barn on this building when you could just get a product that looks like old wood?
Well, I don't know, part of it is we want to be authentic. You know, it's important that the town square, the paddock square, we've given the direction to all our design builders that we want the structures to be built out of the 300-year-old wood that was salvaged out of the river bottoms here in Florida. We wanted it to be built as authentic as possible. Of course, we got to build the current building code, so we have to use some more modern fastening systems, but we want the structures, when you look at them when we're done, to look like they've been here for a couple of 100 years or 150 years, so it fits in with the story.
What about the Palace Hotel? Is that based on an actual building?
Well, the Palace Hotel is going to be the Sales and Information Center in Brownwood, and it is based on an old hotel that my family owned in northern Michigan, in Central Lake, Michigan. And it's kind of a turn of the century inn, and that's the theme that we're going for inside. But we're trying to blend in a little more of the rustic Florida look too. So it'll kind of be Victorian on a rustic side. And we always loved the name. We always thought it was great. The Palace Hotel.
I have to ask, do either of you have a favorite building out here, one that you feel especially fond of?
You know, they're all like your children. And I don't know, it's funny because we always joke around, because when we get done with something, I'll look at Gary and go, this is my favorite one. And he'll go, you say that every time. And I do, I do. Because when we get done with one, I just...
is the most favorite.
Yes, yeah. But I don't know.
Ask me at the end of the summer that question.
Yeah, that's
we'll see how they turn out first.
I just have in my heart, the barn. I spent a lot of time in the barn with my grandfather, Clifford, and it was great time for a kid.
You were asking about my favorite building. In all seriousness, I think it's going to be the stage at Paddock Square.
Oh, yeah.
That's based on an old dog trot concept, and it's going to be kind of neat.
Yeah, he poured his heart and soul into that one.
Obviously, you can see behind us, buildings are starting to go up, the concrete blocks going up. They're going to dry in the structures, hopefully in the next few months, and they're going to start working on the interiors and start the finish work, and that's when the life gets added to these buildings. They just look like big concrete shells now, but you know, sometime next year, end of the summer, is when we're hoping that we'll be complete, and we'll announce that when we're ready. We're not sure yet, but it's coming soon.
I know I'm speaking for everyone who's watching this when I say we're really excited, and thank you, and we just can't wait to experience it.
You'll have to see it to believe it.
The dog trot is a style of house that was common throughout the southeastern United States during the 19th and early 20th centuries, and historically consisted of 2 log cabins connected by a breezeway or dog trot, all under a common roof.
Coming up next, Steve Edwards, owner of Edwards Construction, gives us a sneak peek as we walk the new Brownwood construction site for the very first time. All that and much more straight ahead. Villagers, stay with us.
The term cracker was derived from the whips used by Florida cowboys to crack cattle out of the swamps and scrub.
Well, Rome wasn't built in a day, and neither was the Villages, but the person who's had a big hand in a lot of what you enjoy in Florida's friendliest hometown is joining me now, and that's Steve Edwards of Edwards Construction. And Steve, you didn't just ride into town on the back of a turnip truck. You've been here quite a while, haven't you?
I have indeed. It's been about 18 years that we've been working here at the Villages. The town square had just been completed, and we did the first project, which was the Citrus Exchange building.
How many projects, I mean, I don't even know if you can number them. How many projects have you done in the Villages?
I couldn't begin to number them, but it's well over 100 projects. You know, we've done every rec center, the country clubs, on and on, schools, you name it. We've done a little bit of everything. So.
Well, for any project of this magnitude, I know it takes a lot of bodies. I see all sorts of equipment and different trucks from different companies. How many guys are Edwards guys, and how many subs do you have out here? Can you give us the overview?
You know, we'll have, on a day-to-day basis, there could be 200, 250 people when things really get cranked up, plus all your site infrastructure, that would be even more. So, you know, you could have 300-400 people easily on a given day.
You got me all excited now. I'm gonna make you take me in the trailer. I wanna see the drawings, and I know the viewers wanna see it too. So can we go look at the drawings?
Let's do it.
All right, let's go. Well, Steve, we talked a little bit about the vision, and this is the vision on paper, isn't it? What are we looking at?
All right, well, this is our master plan of Brownwood, and this area right here is the first phase, starting with the square. This sheet here actually kind of gives you a better idea. It's a blow up of just phase 1. Again, we have the square, we have the theater, the bunkhouse. These 3 buildings here, the Palace Hotel, Manley Building, and Rose Building, have to do with the sales function. And then the Weechens Building is a smaller retail tenant space. And then you have the Citizens First Bank.
Wow, fantastic. Let's go out and take a look at how the project's coming along.
All right, great.
We're here on Main Street, Steve, and a lot of activity happening here behind us. This is the Rose Building, isn't it?
It is. It's about 10,000 square feet, and right now we're doing the block work, running it up, getting ready for tie beams. Then, of course, behind us we have the Weechens Building, which we're just starting the footers on that. We haven't poured any. The rebar is being placed, and then at the end of the block is Citizens Bank, which is really just a dirt pad and won't begin until after the first of the year.
Steve, what's going on here? What's this building?
All right, this is Manley Building and the Palace Hotel, both part of the sales buildings. And again, we're finishing up masonry, pouring tie beams, getting prepared for our structural steel and trusses, the roof system.
Yeah, it looks like it's really coming along well. And as we look at this side of Main Street, They're busy on this side too. I see some steel beams and looks like guys are getting ready to pour some concrete. And what is this next to the theater?
That is the bunkhouse retail building, so about 22,000 feet of, it'll be individual retail spaces.
Do a little shopping before and after the movie if you want.
There you go.
And behind us is what appears to be the grand dame of Brownwood. This is going to be the Barnstorm Theatre. And I'm looking at it and seeing concrete and steel, but I know you and the Morris family see something else when you look at it.
Well, we're going to transform it into a real old barn, and it's going to be complete with a timber frame structure when you walk in the lobby. Even though we've built it with 10-inch thick concrete walls, in fact, the biggest panel weighs 61 tons on this project, but it's still going to be a barn when we're complete with it.
And no small barn. Talk about the square footage here.
It's 53,000 square feet. We'll have over 2,000 seats for the theater for the 8 screens.
Well, it's going to be absolutely fabulous, Steve, and we want to thank Steve Edwards of Edwards Construction for joining us.
My pleasure.
Coming up after a break, we're going to go inside the big barn with Superintendent Danny Tilton. So don't go away, villagers. It's your exclusive look at the inside of the Barnstorm Theatre coming right up.
The crane used to raise the walls on the Barnstorm Theatre required 10 semi-trucks to transport to the Brownwood construction site.
Cattle were hunted and herded into rough settlements known as cow camps.
We're standing at the site of the 53,000 square foot Brownwood Barnstorm Theatre, and Village's residents are absolutely going to love this building. I'm joined now as we put on the hard hats to begin the journey by the big dog, Danny Tilton of Edwards Construction. And Danny, you've been involved in a lot of projects, but this one seems to be extra special.
Yes, sir. This here is the cherry on top of the cake, I would say. Very large building. Right now, take a good look at it because it's not going to look that way for long, sir. It's going to be amazing.
Okay, it's concrete now, but it's going to be the grandest of barns when it's done with a state-of-the-art movie theater inside. So, sounds great, Danny. What do you say we go take a look? Let's go barnstorming.
Let's do it.
Well, here at Brownwood, we see that the walls are already up, and these are not ordinary walls where you frame them up, you pour the concrete in. This is a little bit different kind of construction. Tell us how these walls were made, Danny.
Well, what we do is we'll pour a slab out here, level. We actually pour these walls right on top of the slab. We'll form them up whatever thickness is desired from the structural engineer, and we fill them up with rebar, pour them, let them dry for 5-6 days. We stand them up. That's how we got the word tilt wall. And they're very strong construction.
So these were actually laying on the ground. You poured them just like you would a floor and then lifted them up into place.
We get a bad boy crane in here and we hoist them up, set them down on the footer, we bolt them down, then we totally grout underneath them to set them in a bed of concrete.
Now, what is the advantages of going with the tilt wall as opposed to the way you guys did it 10 or 20 years ago?
Let me give you an idea. We would be halfway if this was a block job. And here we are stood up with the iron almost complete. We would be maybe a little past half if this was a masonry wall application. It's speed, it's strength, it's very fast construction. And it's in the industry, this has been the new wave for commercial warehouse space and big buildings such as what we have here today.
Cutting edge construction techniques happening right here at the Brownwood site. Danny, tell me about these metal supports that we see against the wall. What are they doing?
Those are super braces, and what those braces do is they hold the wall straight in place until we weld the bar joints to them. After that, we can release the braces.
Now, Danny, along with the concrete work, I see you've got steel going in, the girders, thin ones, thick ones. What's going on up above us?
And we run these columns up to hold up the big girders. And the big girders hold up the little bar joists, which in turn jump over to the walls, and we weld them down to the walls, and they support the walls. Basically, after we stretch out all the little joists, we kick the deck around to cover the entire roof system. So that, in a nutshell, is what the iron's doing. You want to go take a look at it?
Well, it sounds sort of like the thigh bone connected to the knee bone, connected to the ankle.
Without one of them bones, it isn't going to stand up. That's correct. That's correct.
Well, let's go inside the body then, and you can show me more about what we're talking about. Come on.
Let's do it.
All right, Danny, we're here at one of the I guess it's a hole for a pad. What's going on here?
Well, what's happening is you got 4 bolts here that accept the column. And one of the bolts is painted because it's elevated at the right elevation. This gentleman right here is elevating the other 3 to match the one that's elevated. So when we set the column down, it's plumb. And that's what's going on right here. And we're about to set a column. How'd you like to see one go
I was
up?
just going to say, I just wish a column would be set right now while we were here. Can that happen?
I think so.
All right.
Let's do it.
Let's step back a second. All right, now how many of these columns are there going to be in this building, Danny?
You got approximately, I'm going to say 70 off the top of my head, looking at them with the upper braces and all, easily.
And they're not supporting the roof, they're supporting the next level? Is that what they're doing?
This particular column is supporting the mezzanine over these bigger panels, strictly for the mezzanine use only. No roof application on these columns at all.
Okay, so now that this is in place, what's going on top of it? Will that be a girder?
Well, what's going to happen here is we'll start running these girders out, which are not bar joist girders. They're actually I-beam girders that will go from this column over to the mezzanine, and then from this column over to the wall. It's quite extensive due to the fact of the seating arrangement in here to hold up the bearing load of the seats.
Talking about seating, why don't we go and take a look at one of the higher elevations? Go.
Let's go.
Now, Danny, we're here in the center of the Barnstorm. What's the next step? What's going to happen in here?
Well, right now we're getting to a stage where this iron you're seeing leveled out here, we're going to stretch this decking out, and we're going to pour these floors here you see, and you see behind us as well. So we'll be stretching this decking out that you see periodically stacked up and pouring concrete on it so we can get ready to build the walls and start securing the outside perimeter of this mezzanine, which is first. Safety's first. That's where we're at right now.
Okay, so villagers, you're actually up above where you'll be watching the movies. If this was built out, we would be in the projection rooms looking down on you right now as you're having a great time. But villagers, you're not going to believe it. You are going to love it. And if you're not a movie lover now, you're going to be one.
The exterior walls of the Barnstorm Theatre are comprised of 58 concrete panels, ranging in weight from 11,000 to 130,000 pounds.
In the mid-1800s, K.O. Atlas established a cow camp that turned into a bustling settlement known as Cowtown.
Well, standing here at what will be the ticket window, it's a little bit hard for me to believe that this will look like a barn, but you tell me it will, so I'm going to believe you. I just see concrete, Danny.
Well, I got to tell you, before this is over, you're going to be thinking you're standing at Old McDonald's farm. This is going to be one good-looking barn that you're standing at right here.
Okay, well, we're going to have to take Danny Tilton's word on it. And, folks, you will see it just as soon as I see it. So keep checking your V-mail for all of the construction happenings out here at Brownwood.